If you're within 1 year of retirement, first off, congratulations. But now you have a 12-month window to prepare for one of the biggest events of your life. This is one of the most financially critical and strategically important times of your life. Why? Because the choices you make today are going to determine how much you pay in taxes over the next 20 or 30 years of your retirement, whether you trigger Medicare penalties or premium hikes, when and how you claim your Social Security benefits, and how confident you're going to be spending from your nest egg. So in this video, I'm walking you through a clear month-by-month roadmap for the entire year, from when to claim Medicare to rollover timing, Roth conversions, and income setup. Before we dive in, my name's Ryan Knoll, and I'm a certified financial planner and founder of NavWealth Partners, a financial planning firm that helps clients nationwide make smart money decisions. Let's jump into the video. Okay, so if you're watching this video and you're somewhere between 9 and 12 months away from retirement, here are some of the things that you should be thinking about. In these early months, it's important to lay a solid foundation for a successful transition. Start by building your cash buffer. That's 6 to 12 months worth of expenses saved up, so that way you're not immediately dipping into your portfolio. And it also provides you with extra liquidity in case not all of your income sources are set up the day you retire. Next, you want to track your current spending and map out what that might look like in retirement. Not being surprised by what you're spending each month will go a long way to reducing stress once you get to your retirement stage. Review your expected income sources. Will you have a pension, Social Security, part-time work, or purely portfolio withdrawals? Understanding how you're going to get paid will also reduce your stress levels. And if you're retiring before the age of 65, now's the time to evaluate your healthcare options like COBRA, ACA plans, or health sharing programs to bridge that gap before you get to your Medicare years. This is also the moment to loop in your advisor or your tax planner to start identifying Roth conversion windows, tax bracket planning, and withdrawal sequencing scenarios. So now if you're 8 months out from retirement and you're over the age of 65, now's the time to start thinking about preparing for your Medicare plan. If you're turning 65 around retirement, you'll be entering the Medicare initial enrollment period. That window starts 3 months before your 65th birthday and lasts for 7 months total. So if you're leaving employer coverage, this is the time to enroll in Medicare's Part A and B, compare Part D prescription plans, choose between a Medigap or Medicare Advantage plan, and double check that your spouse is covered if they're not yet 65. Don't leave this until the last minute. Late enrollment can result in permanent penalties or gaps in coverage. Those are something that can cost you thousands of dollars over a 30-year retirement. So now you find yourself 7 months out from retirement. And as retirement approaches, it's time to begin aligning your portfolio with your withdrawal strategy. That means rebalancing your mix of stocks and bonds to reduce sequence of returns risk, creating a safe bucket of cash or low-risk assets to fund your first 12 to 24 months worth of spending, and reviewing your taxable accounts to identify any appreciated positions you may want to sell while your income is still lower. You want to ask yourself, will this portfolio support not just growth, but income stability as the markets fluctuate during my retirement? It's not about what you own, it's about how and when you'll use it. Knowing how you will not only pull money from your portfolio, but also know how you can limit taxes on those withdrawals will go a long way in making sure that it doesn't provide you with only the income you need, but also making sure that it lasts the rest of your lifetime. All right, so now you're in the back half of your last year working. We're in month 6. And you're starting to enter what could be some of the lowest income earning years of your lifetime, which means it's a great time to start considering Roth conversions, especially if you've built up balances inside of traditional IRAs and 401ks. By converting a portion of your traditional IRA to a Roth IRA while your income is low can do a few things for you. First, it can help you to lock in lower tax rates, it can reduce your future required minimum distributions, and it can help you to avoid taxes on Social Security and Medicare premiums later on. But conversions can also trigger additional taxes that affect your future IRMA brackets for Medicare. So it's really important to start coordinating with your financial planner right now so they can help you not only optimize this conversion strategy, but help you to avoid the penalties that could come along with it. And sometimes spreading these conversions over a few years, starting now, is a smarter move, but that's not always the case. You want to work with your planner and have them build a plan that's customized to your specific situation. Now that you're 4 to 5 months out from retirement, it's time to start thinking specifically about Social Security. And even if you're not claiming Social Security yet, you need a strategy right now. You need to run the numbers on claiming early at 62, waiting until full retirement age, or delaying up to age 70 for the maximum benefit. If you're married, coordinate with your spouse. Often it makes sense for the higher earner to delay until age 70 to lock in a larger survivor benefit, while the lower earner claims earlier to bring in income. Just know that the break-even point for most people claiming Social Security as early as possible and at full retirement age is typically around 79 years old. So if you believe you'll live longer than that, typically it makes sense to delay taking your Social Security until full retirement age. But if you don't have longevity in your family tree, oftentimes the math works out to be better claiming as early as possible. Also, you want to consider the tax impact. Social Security becomes taxable up to 85% if your income crosses certain thresholds, which might affect how and when you claim. So this is again where you want to coordinate with your planner what your withdrawal sequencing will look like, so that way you keep Social Security taxed at as low of a rate as possible. Now you're at the point where things are going to start to feel real. You're 3 months out from retirement. You'll want to start your 401k or 403b rollover process, or at least understand what it's going to look like within the context of each of your individual plans. Review whether you qualify for net unrealized appreciation treatment, or NUA, for company stock held within your retirement plan. You also want to understand your severance, bonuses, or stock options you're entitled to and how each will be taxed upon your retirement. Make sure you use up any FSA dollars that don't carry over, and get documentation on health benefits, retirement contributions, and your final paycheck. Give yourself plenty of time. Administrative delays during this window are common and costly. Every time I deal with a client who's going through the retirement process, this is always the part that's out of their hands. If your employer tends to move slow on things, chances are they'll move slow during your retirement process. If they tend to move quickly, you'll get your answers quickly. But just know, based off of where you work, that this can be the biggest variable of your plan. And if you can't start moving your assets yet, make sure you at least have a plan for what you're going to do at this point. The peace of mind of knowing exactly where everything will be at retirement can be worth even more than the money itself. 2 months out from retirement, you need to start coming up with a concrete income plan, which includes deciding how much to withdraw each month and from which accounts, setting up monthly transfers to your checking account, withholding enough for federal and state taxes so there's not a surprise bill at the end of the year, ensuring your distributions align with your Roth conversion or bracket goals. This is the decumulation phase, and the more automated and intentional you are here, the smoother your retirement cash flow will be. During this step and the previous one, you will really narrow down how your investments need to be allocated to provide your income. If you've done a good job saving, you can likely keep the portfolio a bit more liquid and take on a bit more risk to maximize returns. You can also be more aggressive with Roth conversions because you'll have more time to offset the higher upfront taxes you'll pay upon converting the funds. But if you've found at this point that you might have an income shortfall or you don't have quite as much as you would like, you have two options. The first is to delay your plans, or you can look at your investments and see how you can modify them to bridge that gap. Things like annuities and bonds, which tend to provide more stable income, can be used, but there is a trade-off. They will likely limit your liquidity and the future growth, so that could hamper your financial plan if you're expecting a 6 or 7% compounded growth rate over time, but now you're investing in things that provide higher income but lower returns. Is going to ultimately affect those end-of-life projections as well. So you want to make sure by taking less risk, you're also providing yourself with not just enough income, but with enough to leave to your heirs or people you care about after you're gone. So now you have just 1 month until retirement, and with just a few weeks ago, it's time to make your departure clean. You want to give your final notice to HR, confirm any unused vacation payout, double check that retirement plan contributions and employer matches are posted, and then make sure all of your beneficiary forms are up to date. You've worked hard to get to this moment. Now it's time to finish strong. And now it's the moment you've been waiting for. You are officially retired. And your job now is monitoring and adjusting your plan. You want to review your first few months of expenses. Did anything surprise you? Begin implementing any Roth conversions before year end. Revisit your withdrawal strategy based on your actual spending. And check in with your advisor and tax planner to evaluate how your plan is working in real life. The first 90 days of retirement is about finding your rhythm, financially and personally. I often find that most clients miss 1 or 2 small things at this point. Maybe they overestimated what they would spend each month, or perhaps they take up an extra hobby which is incurring additional expenses. Whatever it is within the first 3 months of your retirement, you will likely find a small hole and it will need fixing. And it's not the end of the world, but it does need to be factored in.